side, we have Stephen Cho, who I would like to welcome to the stadium podium.
Music is everybody's possession. It's only publishers who think that people own it. John Lennon, who was one of the most influential artists in his time, said this about the ownership and distribution of his own music. I would like to start by welcoming everyone to this debate and to this debate tournament. The resolution we are debating today is this House would allow the free distribution of music on the internet. As the first government speaker before the House, I would like to take some time to define the terms for you. We would define allow as to permit legally under the law. Free distribution as being shared without the cost of monetary transactions or other compensations. Music as an art form produced using vocal or instrumental sounds. And the internet as the digital database that establishes the means to publish and share information on a global scale. At this time, I would like to ask of the opposition desk a formal agreement to a revision of these terms in their first constructed. Today, we on side government are bringing forward three main contentions to substantiate our case. Before I go on to elaborate on two of these three pillars, I would like to briefly outline them all for you. Our first pillar addresses the fact that this motion combats corporate greed. Secondly, this eliminates the existence of an underground industry. And lastly, we will discuss the potential for greater artist development through this motion. On side government today, we see that legitimate means of purchasing music do not support the artists who created the product. Instead, it is harnessed by publishers and producers who sustain their own corporate profit through online music sales. And this leads me directly into my first contention tonight. This motion combats corporate greed. And when we're examining this issue, the one thing we need to establish is who receives the profits from purchased music. So let's take iTunes as one example because it's the most common one. Before we even discuss the profit breakdown, we're giving these corporations the exclusive and sole power to determine what the music of these artists is worth. What kind of message is this sending to the publishers? These are profits the artists are entitled to. Profits that are being capitalized on by corporate individuals who have nothing to do with the products being sold, who have never even consulted with the entitled owners of the music they exploit without guilt and without restriction. Would you not agree?
So you're essentially saying that iTunes has never talked to an artist and consulted them on how much they think that their music is worth?
Well, the thing is, our economic industry today is structured around the fact that you need a record deal to publish your music. So they inherently create a system where you can't make money without being a part of the online industry, but it's only actually making money for the corporations and not the artists that they exploit. Music is sold in iTunes underneath the smokescreen that the profits go directly to the supporting artists, like our first opposition speaker would believe. The less celebrated statistics that Apple releases admit that iTunes claims over 30% of each record purchased on its online store, which doesn't even account for the cuts that producers, studios, record labels, and other corporations involved and affiliated with the music produced receive afterwards. I have to emphasize that online music is not a means of supporting musicians, ladies and gentlemen, but exploiting their products in order to create revenue for corporations. The majority of profits that artists make off of their music is through live music, through concerts, through world tours. And these are things that they put together with their own affiliations, that their managers, that their corporations don't have to be a part of, because they don't need legal liabilities to publish their music on an online market that actually won't do anything for them, and not at this time. And the motion that side government is proposing today eliminates this corporate middleman. The industry is no longer a music industry on the internet. It's one that corporations have created to benefit one stakeholder, which to no surprise, ladies and gentlemen, is themselves. This leads me directly into the second contention on side government today, eliminating the underground industry. As it stands, the underground system for downloading free music is rampant and uncontainable, and there is no possible method of eradicating it. Our opposition is suggesting that we condemn these downloads as against the law, but they are going to happen regardless. And unlike other laws that can be enforced, online criminals who download music cannot be tracked. Because of the scope of the underground music industry, the opposition is suggesting that we enforce the impossible. We can enforce whatever we want, but it won't make one difference to the existence of free music databases. Nothing that opposition comes up here and tells you today is going to completely eliminate any illegal means of downloading music. Even if you Googled it, even if it was a torrent, there's nothing they can do to enforce this or police this or stop this from happening. Would you not agree?
So when they take down piracy websites and you go to these piracy websites and they're not there anymore, does that mean that nothing's being enforced?
When one piracy website gets shut down, they divide and multiply and grow in numbers that you've never seen before. And that's why you can go to any source. That's why you can Google a song and download it from a million different hits anytime you want. And the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, in 2012, the most popular song was downloaded freely, and it was called African Americans in Paris. And it was produced by Jay-Z and by Kanye West, but not through means of online legitimate publishing. It was the most freely downloaded song and the most popular song of that entire year. And that only goes to prove that this motion falls on our side of the house today. And the thing that justifies this argument above all today is the fact that downloading free music does not harm anyone besides the corporations that already exploit the artists. Because the market, the online market today, is inherently one that is based on corporations and not on the artists. And we see that eliminating this industry would not detriment the artists in any way. So in fact, we're labeling the crime on people who are not responsible and continuing to sustain revenue to the ones that are. And it is on these terms that we of the government proudly propose before you today.